Welcome to the Condo Pod, presented by the Canadian Condominium Institute, Eastern Ontario's chapter, your go-to place for everything condos in Eastern Ontario. From governance to legal, from maintenance, management, and community living, we are diving into the topics that matter most to condo owners, directors, and professionals in our region. My guest today is John Barry from Ainger Cabling and Security. John, welcome to the show. Really glad to have you here. Let's start simple. When somebody asks what you and Ainger Cabling and Security do, what's your go-to elevator pitch?
Well, first off, thanks for having me, Josh. I appreciate it. Go-to elevator pitch, basically in 2 words, connecting and protecting. What we do, we're maintaining, installing electronic security systems, camera systems, access control, intercoms, some data cabling as well, less so for the condo space, but it still does apply for sure. So connecting and protecting.
What's access control? Because, I mean, for you and I, we know what that means, but for the Gen Pop, what would that be?
Sure. So for a layman's term, most people will identify with the term swipe cards or fobs, right? Yeah. So when you get to your building, if you present a key tag, that would be an access control that has your identification on it. It says, hey, this is John Barry trying to get through the front door. Does John have access to this door during this time? Right. And then when you swipe your card, it logs you, right? So that's how you're controlling access, and it also gives you a log of that as well, right?
Right. So when we have to go back and look for something, it's very easy to know who was where.
Yeah.
You know, was this somebody that was supposed to be in? Was it authorized entry versus unauthorized?
For sure.
Great.
Yeah, exactly.
So you've been in the industry for 20 years.
Yeah.
It's no small feat.
It's just crazy to me as well.
Right. So how did you first get into this line of work, and what kind of keeps you passionate for the last 2 decades?
Yeah, I kind of stumbled into it. Well, first off, Ainger Cabling and Security is a family business,
right,
owned by my stepdad, Ron Ainger, and my mom,
right,
Angela Barkley. So during high school, I started when I was 17, just pulling cable. Ron said, hey, we need some help.
Right.
Do you mind coming and pull some cable for us?
Time for some labor, kid.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, just started off like everybody does who's green in the industry. You start off pulling cable. It's the easiest thing to do. Most labor intensive, but I shouldn't say easiest thing to do. But it just kind of went from there. And I went to Algonquin for business admin afterwards. There was 1,000 people in that program. Yeah. I'm like, what am I going to do with this?
Yeah.
And then things started getting more interesting at Ainger. Just decided to go on full time there, right? Had no plan, as it were, to make this my career, but it just kind of ended up that way. Things started getting more and more interesting. I started installing cameras at that point. Like, Ainger started out as a structured cabling company.
Right.
Only because Ron was a Bell technician back in the day, and then he started doing his own thing. And then once we started getting into cameras, access control system, intercoms, that's what I really gravitated to.
Right.
Yeah.
Which shows. I mean, you and I have done some work in some properties, and when I get stuck somewhere and I'm like, I can't conceptualize how this is going to work. I know what I need it to do, but I don't know how I need it to get from A to B. Yeah. Whenever you've shown up on site, you've just been able to open my eyes to be able to understand some of this stuff, which is great.
Well,
because
I appreciate that.
Like it's a valuable resource. So people often think they know what someone in your role kind of does.
Yeah.
But what's something about your background or experience that might surprise some people? Basically, I would say that this isn't a red seal trade. Right.
Which I think it should be, by the way.
Sure.
You know, if barbers are a red seal trade, I certainly think, providing people Ethernet services, security definitely demands that.
Right.
There was a telecommunications course at Algonquin about 10 years ago. They did away with it for whatever reason. But I would say, like, all of the training for everyone that does what we do, integrators, security integrators, is learned in the field.
Right.
There are small training courses for specific products.
Sure.
Right? If you want to be certified on a specific product, sometimes, like I flew down to Dallas, Texas for a week-long training one time.
Right.
But a lot of it is in the field.
Sure.
And there's so many things that we do. If you want to be a cabling expert, you could become an RCDD. But to implement these things, that's for designing cabling systems.
Right.
But to implement it in the field, you have to learn on the job.
Right.
So-
Which can be struggling because like each building that you would go into is going to be vastly different.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
And then the requirements are going to be, at a skeleton level, like, yeah, sure, okay, we've got access control, but
Yeah.
the different levels of access control that can go, like you have, from just a key on the door
Yeah.
all the way to, thumb fingerprints, what you see
Yeah.
in movies.
We can do biometrics. We have done biometrics before.
Yeah.
Thumb scan. But yeah, there's license plate readers to let people in a garage. There's many forms of access control. But I would say the big part of my role is meeting with clients,
Right.
meeting with people such as yourself and board members.
Right.
And actually taking the time to understand what they need.
Right.
It's like, okay, what is the goal here? It's like you have an old camera system, you want to come to the 21st century,
Yeah.
or whatever it may be. So first, meet, listen, figure out what they want to do, and then it's my job to figure out what the best solution actually is.
Yeah,
without
and I really-
draining the whole budget.
Of course, and what I really enjoyed when we were having because it's a good point on draining the budget. A lot of people think like, okay, these companies are going to come in, they're going to sell me the Rolls Royce, they're going to put me in all of these things that I don't really need. But
Yeah.
when we were having our conversations, I remember sometimes you'd be like, well, if you want to do this,
Yeah.
that's where it's going to start adding up in terms
Yeah.
of money.
Yeah.
But there are solutions that are outside of that can do what you're needing to do. A lot of times when there's a response to the security side of it,
Yeah.
is that there's an incident that's occurred,
That's what happens.
right? So something's happened.
Yeah.
And the reactive state of the community is now, okay, let's get in, let's upgrade our camera system, let's change this, let's change that.
Yeah.
So how do you navigate those types of conversations where obviously there's trauma involved,
Yeah.
but making sure that they don't overreact in certain circumstances?
I think it's a layered approach. Security, I always say, is built in layers, right?
Yeah.
So a good example, especially during the winter when it gets cold out, vestibules of condo buildings, we have vagrants coming in, doing whatever in the vestibules, sleeping there.
Yeah.
In the morning, the people are finding someone passed out in the lobby, right?
Yeah.
So as sad as that is, the people that are living there don't really deserve that either.
Yep.
So, you can start by locking down the vestibule.
Right.
That would be one approach with access control. You can move the intercom outside or add a fob reader to the outside door.
Right.
Locks it down. Or we also have a service called Active Watch.
Right.
With the cameras, we can take your current cameras and monitor them, or we can add cameras and monitor them. It's best to have a camera that has two-way audio, because we have live agents monitoring these cameras. And, if there's just regular flow through the vestibule, they don't do anything, they don't action anything. That's normal. Those are just people that are living in the building.
Right.
But if they see someone sleeping in the vestibule or starting a fire or whatever, they can come on the camera, two-way audio, and say, hey, buddy, you can't sleep here. You have to move on or we're going to call the police.
Right.
So those two things we've seen good success with
Right.
over the years. It's never going to be zero, in my opinion,
Sure,
because
yeah.
you do have people tailgating through, but
Yeah.
we're trying to cut down and we're trying to make the experience better for the people that live at the condo.
So you mentioned tailgating, which
Yes.
is the number one thing that's an
Yeah.
issue in condominiums, especially in certain neighborhoods.
Yeah.
It becomes a lot more predominant. I mean, we have a couple clients that we're working with right now where that's an issue. And we're actually looking at some culture shifts
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in the property. We're considering this program called Show Me Your Fob, so, where, people
I've seen that before.
will flash
Yeah.
their fobs, and it's a way to try and create that culture of reminding people why the access control really exists.
Yeah.
So what other strategies might be there to aid condos when people are piggybacking or tailgating into properties?
So I think there's the onus on the people that live there, right? You swipe your card and then, if there's no one around, just shut the door.
Right.
Sometimes door closers, depending on the strength of the door closer, like the door will take 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I've seen some crazy close times, right?
Yeah.
Where even if, and I'll be there just delivering a package or something to like fobs to the the guard at the desk, and it's like I could have just snuck in there really easily, right?
Yep.
So first thing I would say, the easiest thing is, like you said, try and change the culture and have the onus on the person. It's like, all right, I fobbed in, I got to close the door. Think of this as my house. I don't want random people coming into my house, right? If that's not working, then you could do, if you have a vestibule, you have an outside door and an inside door, you could have what's called a man trap.
Right.
Where the inside door will not unlock until the outside door is closed.
Yeah.
And that's done electronically.
Right.
So,
which is a great system, in all honesty, but it's inconvenient, right?
It is.
Because people are always in a rush.
Yeah.
Anytime I've tried to present the man trap idea, it's always like, well, what do I have to do if I'm in a hurry? It's like, then leave
you
the
have to
building
slow down.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. And I mean, it might take an extra 30 seconds.
Yeah.
I know everyone's time is valuable nowadays, but
still, that 30 seconds is the make or break from somebody getting into the building unauthorized.
right.
Yeah.
So if we really want to change the culture and have a more security forward thinking, then, you might have to do things like this.
Correct.
So,
So you've worked with probably hundreds of condo boards in the time of your career. Is there one story or experience that kind of stands out as one of your favorites?
the one that stands out as maybe the most shocking, or the most, the time we actually may have changed somebody's life, was we were it was downtown Ottawa. I won't name the condo, but we were doing some work on the camera system, and we were with the guard at the front desk, and all of a sudden, it wasn't me, it was the technician I was with, but he caught something on the elevator camera.
Right.
Guy pulls out a handgun.
Oh, wow.
I don't know if he was just checking to see if it was loaded
Right.
to do whatever he was about to do.
Sure.
So immediately the guard calls the police.
Yeah.
They were there in 30 seconds.
Sure, yeah.
And they arrested the guy, took him away.
Wow.
So that's the quickest form of of a security system working.
Proof of concept.
Yeah, in real time that I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And who knows what that guy was about to do.
Wow.
And he wasn't a resident.
Sure.
So that guy got into the building somehow.
Right.
Was going up somewhere with a handgun to do whatever.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Wow. And intervention was able to step in.
Yeah.
A lot of times when it comes to like camera footage, so I come from a security background myself.
Yeah.
And I did security, corporate security in the Toronto area. So I mean, I've definitely seen the use case scenarios of cameras, and I love PTZ. Like, I just love PTZ.
For sure.
Especially when you get to have they did have the Rolls Royce controls.
Yeah.
For the system.
Joystick,
where it was. Joystick.
everything. Yeah.
Buttons so you could memorize camera numbers.
Yeah.
Every day. The
Pre-programmed pans.
Correct.
Yeah.
So you could have an unauthorized individual on the property, and you could, this was a team of 15 security guards where we were.
Yeah.
So you could go, we've got a 1061, which is undesirable in the building.
Sure.
Here's their location. Go to that location. And I could have followed that individual throughout the whole property.
Yeah.
In the condo world, obviously, the budgets are very different.
Yes.
Obviously, the environment's a little different. You may not have security guards on duty full time.
Yeah.
If you're a smaller community, you may have a smaller number of cameras, and then also the resources to train people to review them.
Mm-hmm.
How does a condo balance having camera coverage
Yeah.
and blind spots?
Yeah. It's a good question. And to your point, the PTZs are great, but they only really work if you have a guard staff.
Correct.
Right? Someone to actually manually automate the PTZ. The PTZs will pan on their own.
Sure, yeah.
But if, it's looking over here, then you've got something occurring over here.
Correct. We ran into that all the time. The camera ones would do this kind of rotate left and right.
Yeah.
And whenever they would rotate left and I'd see my guy go right, I'd go, oh my goodness.
Yeah. So just to go off on a little aside, nowadays, PTZs are really great. We are replacing a lot of PTZs with multi-sensor cameras.
Got it.
So instead of viewing like this and you're missing something over here when the lens is pointed this way, you have 3 or 4 lenses
Right.
that are pointed 270 or 360 degrees.
Right.
And you're not missing anything. So that kind of goes to your point before. How do we balance coverage with no blind spots? The first thing you want to do is cover your entries and exits.
Right.
That's number one, for sure. And then what I see after that's done, what I see is common areas. amenities.
Yep.
Rooftop, I guess that would be an amenity.
Yep.
And then parking garage
Right.
is always a big one. Now that can be difficult because you have 100 pillars everywhere. You're probably never going to get 100% coverage in a parking garage.
No.
It would take a ton of cameras.
Correct.
Like it would blow the budget.
Correct.
So
and you're also, when there's not something happening, the amount of storage that you're going to need.
Yeah, for sure. So we walk a fine line of being within budget, but also getting enough coverage. So, if 95% of your property is covered and 100% of your entries, exits, that's pretty good.
In your opinion, do you see cameras still as a deterrence factor or more of an insurance and follow-up factor?
It can be a bit of both. I would say for a condo space, like it's not locking down, right? So it's more of a reactive thing.
Sure.
Unless you're monitoring the cameras.
Right.
With a service like ActiveWatch, right? That takes your reactive camera system and makes it proactive.
Yeah.
So I would say they still are a deterrent though.
Right.
Because if someone is looking to do something malicious and they're scoping out different condos, right? Are they going to break into the one with more security or less security?
Yeah.
That's just,
yeah.
And these people who are looking to break in, they know what they're looking for.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, and in today's space, like it's a lot easier to, like I mean this with all due respect, but like the people that are doing those break-ins now, it's very easy to have. They know if I have a hood up and a mask on, I'm less likely to be identified. So a lot of our clients will be like, "Well, just put a camera up in that location," and I'm like, "We can." It's definitely a resource or a tool for us to use for that. But let's figure out why this area is a bit of a problem.
For sure.
Before we just jump to that camera solution. Because
a
lot of the organized kind of crime that's doing this stuff, even if it's disorganized, it's still organized. They're able to find ways to kind of get around that camera. The active reviewing or monitoring that camera does fill that gap a little bit.
Yeah, because they can see, like someone coming in, hoodie down, mask on, to a place they live. No, this is someone breaking in. Right. Or someone coming to break into storage lockers.
Sure, yeah.
Right, steal e-bikes, steal whatever they're after, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Ainger's obviously been around for quite some time.
Yeah.
And security technology has changed.
Sure has.
So what's the biggest shift that you've seen in the systems from kind of when you started, because you've basically grown up in this industry,
definitely,
to where it is today?
So Ainger's been around since 1996. So coming up on 30 years. And when I started, everything was analog. Basically, if we talk about camera systems, an analog camera is a dumb device. Right. You give it power, it gives you video. That's it.
Period.
End of story. And very low resolution compared to what we have now.
Right.
Like we have 4K cameras now. An analog camera back then wouldn't have even been 1 megapixel.
Right.
So, that's the biggest change I've seen. With access control, it's less easy to see because it's doing basically the same thing. It's just a lot more features nowadays.
Right.
Things have gone to the cloud. I know we can talk about that in a bit. Features with credentials on your Apple Watch.
Right.
Mobile credentials, things like that. But the biggest change to actually see is in the camera systems. Analytics, they're now calling them AI. Sure. We've had analytics for years, but now it's rebranded to AI because everybody's just talking about...
It's a hot topic, but you say AI, people are in.
AI. Oh, I've heard of that.
Yeah.
Like, for years, they've had analytics like line crossing, people detection, facial recognition if you opt into it. Now, that's a gray area.
Yeah.
But... from the early days of just hooking up a matrix of cameras, just 1,000 cables into the back of a matrix of cameras, and now it's just all network driven, right? So we don't have to run to one specific place. If we're doing a cloud-based system, all we need is internet. Mm-hmm. You could have a camera over here and another one completely off-site as a part of the same system nowadays.
Right.
So
I mean, that's going to lead in obviously to our next kind of conversation about where things are kind of headed. You touched on the cloud-based thing, and
Yeah.
we definitely use some of that stuff, or at least some network-based programming,
Yeah.
because it allows your team members, whether it's a board member, a superintendent,
Yeah.
the manager in some cases. If I have access to some of those camera systems, I'm able to be an additional resource in one
Yeah.
of those moments. A great example is we were having an issue with a water leak into the main lobby at a building, and I'm trying to communicate with some of the on-site staff. They're getting bombarded with questions from the owners while they're in that space, and so obviously they're distracted. Well, I'm able to log into the system, see the live feed of the camera going on, and assess the situation from wherever I am.
For sure.
And then able to kind of react and dispatch the appropriate personnel. So give me the kind of pros and cons of a cloud-based system. And for those that are paying attention, cloud is obviously digital, stored offsite, kind of like really in this imaginary space, in the ether.
Pretty much.
And then on property storage, which is the typical thing that we see in most condos because of either the age or the resources available, where you have a physical hard drive or storage system on site. So what's the pros and cons of kind of each side?
So the traditional way of doing things is an on-premise solution. Right. You would have, for your camera system, you'd have your NVR, network video recorder, on site with a hard drive. Right. The cameras would run back to that, and the recording would be stored on site on the hard drive. Right. The newer way of doing things is cloud-based. So you don't have a recorder on site. The cameras hook up to the internet, and their streams are streamed to. Now, there's lots of different brands doing this cloud, right? So I won't name a specific brand, but it streams to their server. You pay for storage. So the main differences are on premise. You pay for the equipment up front. You own it. But you have to maintain it. So not a lot of these condos have a high IT budget or any IT budget at all, right? So they're not going to be doing firmware updates, patches to these NVRs or access control servers.
Or even having the adequate room to have the equipment in.
True. Yeah. Some of them have pretty small server rooms. But with the cloud, all of that's managed. Like a lot of these are using AWS, like the Amazon servers. So those servers are getting updated, getting the proper patches. They're far more secure from a network perspective. So those are the main differences. Cost on premise, you'll own this. The condo board will own the system. There'll be no reoccurring fees, except for maintenance that you'll have whatever down the road.
Periodic maintenance.
Which is going to happen for an electronic system.
Cloud,
you'll have a lower startup cost, but you'll have a reoccurring cost for that cloud service.
Basically a subscription.
Correct. Yeah. So this is where I see everything going. The manufacturers that we work with, they're pushing cloud. So it comes with some extra features too. Just for video, you can have heat mapping, and these are all things built in by the cloud. So they're giving you some extra features. I think, in my opinion, they're developing the cloud aspect more than the on-premise nowadays, because that's where they want to go.
Yeah, a lot of software companies are pushing that subscription-based model. I mean, it is profitable. It's a business at the end of the day. So I could see a lot of companies will put more resources into developing that for the future. From your point that you said before, like, it also ensures that whatever tools you're using are going to constantly get some of those updates.
For sure. And different features. Sometimes they'll just download a new feature.
Your logo could be right here. Your brand could be featured in multiple episodes of The Condo Pod, reaching condo managers, board members, and industry professionals across the region. It's the perfect way to showcase your expertise and support meaningful conversations. Be part of the voice of this rapid growing community by becoming a sponsor today.
For the intercoms, I've been saying this for a little while now. There are a few options that don't have a reoccurring monthly fee for now. I think 10 years in the future, every single intercom that you can buy will have a reoccurring fee.
Really?
Yeah, that's my prediction.
So we talked about this before we were recording. Actually, it was probably a month ago or something like that, where we were having a situation with access control into the building through the intercom system. We were looking at a couple different intercoms that exist in the market, and I had talked to you about some intercom systems that aren't in. Well, they may be somewhere in Canada, like depending on the area. But
Yeah.
I was talking with an owner, and they had some valid concerns about access control, and they were like, "Well, can we not just have like a camera system that records our face, and the only way we can get into the building is basically like Face ID and things like that?"
That does exist.
Right.
Yeah, but usually with those systems, the owners will have to opt into it.
Right.
You'll get an app, and then if you want to do the facial recognition, you hold up, you take a couple selfies.
Got to scan your face.
Yeah, you end up taking 5 or 6 selfies from all different angles, and then you opted in.
Right.
So it's like the condo board didn't force this upon the residents.
Right.
The resident opted in.
Right.
So to me, I know condo law is not my thing, obviously, but to me, that's acceptable.
Right.
If the individual is opting in for themselves, willingly recording their selfies for the facial recognition,
Yeah.
to me, that's fine.
Yeah, I mean, we won't go too far down the legal side of,
Yeah.
of cameras and stuff like that,
Yeah.
because that can be its own discussion for sure.
You should put up signage though. If you're recording on premise,
Right.
you should have signs saying, you're on this premise, you will be recorded.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's this whole other concept of like the right to privacy, because a lot of people
Yeah.
will look at their own individual security systems.
Yes.
If they're pointed at a common element. So, for
Yeah.
example, like a lot of people have a Ring camera.
Yeah.
It's pointed out at a common element. There's actually some rules on that and how to kind of deal with that in governance. But
Yeah.
I'll leave that to
We've-
another discussion when we bring in an expert in law.
We've done some camera systems down hallways of the different
Right.
floors of condos, right?
Right.
And it's usually for the elevator lobby,
Yeah.
because that's where the most action's going on, obviously.
Yeah.
But certain times we've had board members be concerned. It's like, this is looking down the hallway. It's actually seeing my door.
Right.
But we can mask out doors or anything in an image that you don't want to record.
Right.
And it's not like it's actually recording that and then just getting rid of it. It's masking it out. Like the door will not be recorded.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't see it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's an option just for people to be aware of. If you have to put surveillance on an area that may be seeing things that are,
Yeah.
shouldn't be seeing, can be masked out.
Yeah, I guess one point to note on that for our listeners is that if you have cameras on property, right? If you're a condo corporation, you have cameras on property, you need a camera and surveillance policy.
Yes.
And that policy indicates what's recorded, why it's recorded, and who can review those recordings.
Yeah.
A lot of times I'll get into a situation where there's an event that has happened and the residents will go, "Well, I want to see the camera footage." And it's like, "Well, hold on, like when we're looking at the camera footage, you may be seeing something that's not related to the direct situation here, and everybody has a right to privacy at their home."
Sure.
So the policy is very important. If you're a condo with a management firm, talk to the management firm. They should know how to put together those policies. If not, speak to your legal counsel. They'll be able to help you with those policies. That's probably a huge thing that a lot of people forget.
Very important. Yeah.
It's huge. So obviously you've also worked with a lot of boards.
Yes.
Right, in
Yeah.
the condo space, and I want to also make sure that our podcast is able to be utilized by self-managed condos where the board of directors are doing a lot of everything. If you could give some advice to a brand new board member stepping into the role, what would it be?
For security?
Yeah, of course.
Probably, right? I would say, and it's like a lot of buildings that get built, it seems like security is not top of mind.
Right.
It's one of the last things they consider, right?
Right.
So I would just say, keep it front of mind, consider it. I know, especially boards that are self-managed are not going to have a lot of expertise in this,
Sure.
unless somebody on the board comes from that field. But lean on companies like us.
Right.
Even if you want me to come out and just bounce some ideas off me,
Right.
we're happy to do that. That's a big part of my role, is going to site, meeting with people. Like I said earlier, they tell me their problems, and I will suggest solutions for them. Right. So I would say keep security top of mind and lean on integrators.
Right.
So we're here to help.
Right. And those kind of security audits and walking through those buildings, is that something that your team does? Like to kind of
Yes.
give a sense on like, well, here's
Yeah.
what the blind spots that currently exist. And
Yes. A security audit, like done to a SEPTED specification, is a paid service.
Right.
Right. But a lot of times I'll come out, meet with people, and they get a security audit for free with the quote, right? I'll make a plan. We use a program called System Surveyor.
Right.
Cameras make a plan. I can show you exactly what they're going to see or close to what the surveillance area would be. I can plot everything on there, intercoms, access control, and make a floor plan. So you're going to see what you're getting before you buy it.
Right.
Also, working with a lot of manufacturers, if you wanted a demo of the product before you buy, because a lot of these systems are not cheap.
Yeah.
If you want to know exactly what you're getting, we're happy to do that. Bring in the manufacturer and give an actual demo.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think that's very valuable, and a lot of boards, because they're volunteers, and they may have other obligations, maybe a full-time job.
Sure, yeah.
Like it's tough to know everything. Even as a manager in the industry, like I can't know everything.
Sure.
It would be insane if I did. So I lean on the professionals
Yeah.
to kind of come in and give me a hand. And then I know, for example, there was one of those intercom systems that we were looking at, and your team was very quick to say, okay, yeah, let's set up a demo with the manufacturer. You can walk me through all the bells and whistles, show me what's available with the product, and then I can say, okay, well, that's not necessary for this condo, that's not necessary for this one, but it might be for another one.
Sure.
And kind of use that, which was great.
It's good for property managers to know what's out there.
Yeah.
What's possible.
Yeah, exactly. And then you can either scale it up or down depending on the client.
Yeah, for sure.
Are there any common myths or misconceptions that you run into that you'd like to try and kind of clear up?
One I can think of right away is that fobs are all equal. There are low security fobs and then there are high security fobs. Low security fob would be like a 26-bit Wiegand fob. That's the oldest fob technology there is.
Right.
Those fobs, you can buy a fob replicator on Amazon for $20.
Right.
And if you have one, you can just scan it to it and buy some fobs off of Amazon and replicate 1,000 fobs if you want to, and give them to everybody you know.
Right.
And then you have 1,000 more keys for your condo out there that aren't labeled for the right person. So this is a real problem. Always go with high security fobs.
Right.
MyFair, Deskfire, that encryption has not been broken yet.
Right.
It will be broken someday, like all encryptions are.
Yeah.
But not yet. So you can't copy those fobs.
So do you see it a lot? I know the device you're talking about on Amazon because we did some research in-house to try and understand it a little better to try and see if there are deterrences for it. Do you see a lot of those fobs still in circulation?
Well, we don't know. We don't know because, and it's typically the condos that would be managing this. But from what I see, like the system would see John Barry in there one time, but if there's 100 fobs of that same credential,
right,
then the system only sees John Barry, and it could be 100 different people using that fob.
Interesting. So they basically clone.
It's just
fob.
it's just cloning a fob.
Wow. So
Yeah.
if I'm doing my review after an incident and I see that John's entered the door 1,000 times,
Right. So this goes back to the layered approach
Right.
of you need a camera system
Sure.
as well at your entry points, because if someone's using my fob, I'm going to say I wasn't
Right.
awake at 4 a.m.
Right.
using my fob. Go to the cameras. That wasn't me.
yeah.
So you do need those layers.
Right.
You need a visual and also an audit trail.
So one thing I've seen, just bouncing off what you said there, is that sometimes when I go in to do a review, I'll see on the access control log,
Yeah.
okay, this scan happened at, let's say for argument's sake, 1 p.m.
Yeah.
And then I go to the camera footage, okay, I want to see 1 p.m. at that time.
Yeah. The times don't match up.
It's not matching up.
Yeah.
So how is it that they fall out of sync?
It's a good question. Over time, electronic systems will fall out of sync a little bit. It's usually not too far off, but you should have them running on a time server like time.google.com.
Right.
Or another advantage to the cloud systems they're never off time.
Right.
They're being managed by Amazon servers.
Right. So they're already looking at that as part of the
Yes.
server system
Yeah.
and recalibrating if they fall off.
Yeah.
So if they do fall off in an on property scenario, how does that get fixed?
Basically manually. You have to go into the programming, reprogram the time. You should set, but if you don't have any internet access
Yeah.
to the system, then it can't link up with a Google time server.
Right.
Right. So, things do fall out of sync sometimes, but if you don't have any access to the internet or you don't have a cloud system, it would just be manually
Going in and
Yeah.
adjusting it back to what's appropriate.
Yeah.
Cool. So let's say you had a minute on a loudspeaker and you could speak to every condo in Ontario, right? So you have
Yeah.
this magic speaker and you speak to every condo in Ontario. What would you say?
I would say just bounce ideas off us. Don't be afraid to give me a call and see what can you do, what are the options. Basically use your integrators.
Right.
Right? So I've seen a lot of condos trying to design things themselves,
Right.
right? And like we've talked about this whole time, technology is constantly changing. I don't expect the random public just to keep up with all of this. It is my job to keep up with this.
Right.
So, just use your integrators, have us come to site, do a site visit, bounce ideas off us. We're here to solve problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
One topic I definitely wanted to talk to you about, and I know we almost talked about it before we started hitting record.
Yeah.
So we made sure that we paused on it. So a lot of times right now, like deliveries are a problem.
Yes.
Deliveries are an issue in every condominium corporation.
Yeah.
The amount of deliveries, exponentially grew with the pandemic, and they never slowed down. Condos are struggling to find a way to manage deliveries. Now,
Yeah.
some of the ways that they can, look into things are things like parcel lockers
Yes.
and things of that nature, but they only go so far because the delivery personnel, and I'm talking package delivery, food delivery,
Yeah.
all of the different types you can imagine, get into the building,
Yeah.
right? And the Gen Pop is going to say, okay, my delivery's here. Yeah, no problem. I'll buzz them in or
Yeah.
whatever. Now there's an authorized entry into the building,
Yes.
and I have no way to really track that information through my access control, really, other than the door entry event,
Yeah.
and the camera system seeing it. I'm also getting a call consistently from a provider,
Okay.
trying to push me on to their own version of a key.
Yes.
So I want to know your opinions first.
Yeah.
On what you think on that side of things and what condos can kind of do to manage that access.
Well, for parcel delivery, there is a few different things. Like you mentioned, lockers. The lockers can be very expensive, though.
Very.
Like big bucks,
Like tens of thousands of dollars.
if not more.
Correct.
Yeah. So that's not reasonable for every condo. That's for sure. It might be if you're building a brand new condo.
Sure.
I've also seen parcel delivery rooms. So that not individual lockers, but a parcel delivery room that different intercom systems will have a function for parcel delivery. And some of them are even built into the back doors of all these delivery companies, right? You have a parcel out for delivery. You can scan it at their intercom.
Right.
It opens the door only if it's marked out for delivery.
Right.
And then you go to the parcel room, and this is all on the delivery driver, right? They have to go to the parcel room, scan it again, place the parcel in there, and then the resident would get a code. The parcel's been delivered. It's not perfect,
Right.
right? That parcel room, you definitely want a camera in there.
Yeah.
Because someone's going to get a one-time code. Your parcel's here. They go down. They could take every parcel in that place.
We've seen it.
Right.
We've seen it happen.
So, other than having a guard on staff,
Sure.
24/7 policing everything,
Yeah.
I don't really think there's a foolproof way right now. The individual parcel lockers might be the best because that delivery driver gets to deliver only to that one locker. The person gets to only open that one locker,
Right.
and you don't get your parcel stolen.
Right.
Yeah, it's something that needs to evolve. I think, like you mentioned, the key that that particular company's putting in. I see it as an interesting thing. They've talked to us, and they're trying to have us sell it as well. Basically, they're saying this ups the security, right? Because these drivers are getting in anyways.
Right.
They will just tailgate someone in. Whereas you have, if your parcel is marked out for delivery, it actually grants an access on a log.
Right.
So you can have a report of that. It's like, okay, you won't know who the driver is because
Yeah.
could be anyone and everyone nowadays.
Yeah.
But you'll say, oh, this parcel was for Unit 101. And that's
At least the lead.
At least, yeah. At least you would have some sort of audit trail. So different condos that I've talked to see this as a security issue. They said, no, we don't want that. It's just a flat no.
Like my gut feeling when I get those calls is usually a no.
Yeah.
Right? Like the first time I got the call, I entertained the idea. I was
Sure.
like, oh, this is great. Because sometimes as managers, we'll get a call saying, hey, I'm a delivery driver. I can't get in the building. And I'm like, okay, call the owner.
Right.
I'm not providing you access.
Not going to grant you access into the building. Don't know who you are.
Correct. And,
Yeah.
and that's not my role as a manager
Right.
to boot.
Right.
So when I first started to explore this, I was like, okay, great. Like it's an avenue. It's great
Yeah.
for residents because it gets the access.
Yeah.
But from a security standpoint, like I don't know who's getting access and how that information is being held offsite.
Yeah.
Like obviously, this delivery provider has the resources to make sure that it's secure,
Yes.
and they would hate for the public relations nightmare if it
Yeah.
was not. But it's still something that makes myself and the boards that I work with uneasy.
So all that information, from what I've been told, is held on Amazon servers,
Right.
AWS servers, right?
Right.
So they are very secure. That wouldn't be my concern, because like we were talking about earlier, all this is shifting to the cloud,
Right.
anyways. So
Right.
10 years time, that's going to be very commonplace, and no one's going to worry about it that much, in my opinion.
Sure.
But
Maybe I'm just the old man shaking my fist at the cloud right
the
now.
early adopters are saying we're here for it. But yeah, I get you. So the way I see it is another layer
Right.
of security, and it is an audit trail for people who are going to get in the building who otherwise wouldn't be on an audit trail.
Right.
So I do see it as a good thing, but I do also hear the pushback.
Right.
So it's a bit of an odd. I think like many things in the security industry, that'll be more accepted as time goes on. I think, because I don't think these deliveries are slowing down.
No.
I don't think the food services are slowing down.
No.
Uber Eats, DoorDash.
Yeah.
I hear that company is also working on an integration with Uber Eats.
Sure.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's my 2 cents on it. It's giving an audit trail to something that wouldn't otherwise have an audit trail. And those deliveries are going to get in no matter what. We might as well have them on an audit trail.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not necessarily security related. The one thing that just because I have a microphone and I want to say it is that it drives me nuts when the delivery personnel come in with they drag behind this like a big box that has all the parcels in it.
Sure.
And they just drag it through the lobbies. It's
Yeah.
my biggest pet peeve right now.
Yeah.
And because the delivery teams are not like it's not one company that does the deliveries for this
Can't
provider.
really pinpoint it.
I can't
Yeah.
call a company and say, hey, your guys can't deliver to this property anymore unless you
Right.
like don't mess up my terrazzo flooring.
Yeah.
Like every time that they come through and I see this gouge in the terrazzo, I go, oh my gosh, like
Yeah. Again.
exactly. and then now I have to bring somebody back in and fix it. So that's enough of my rant
Yeah.
on that side.
Everybody
of
gets
things.
one.
But,
Yeah.
But it drives me nuts whenever I see that kind of stuff.
For sure.
Is there anything that's kind of like obviously the cloud-based stuff is it exists, it's growing.
Yes.
Like you said, it's more than likely going to become the norm.
what I
Is there anything else that's in the horizon that you see that is kind of like, ooh, this is a cool idea that's growing?
Yeah. The AI stuff is probably the other one that I could speak to a little bit. Like I said, we used to call it analytics, but AI is being infused with everything in the world right now. So security is going to be no different.
Right.
Different things that you can do, camera systems, and I'm trying to think of specific ones for the condo world. A lot of them don't really apply. Like object detection.
Right.
But license plate recognition.
Sure.
You know, instead of swiping a fob to get into your underground parking, we could have a white list of license plates that when the camera sees that license plate, it just opens the door for you.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Which would actually be kind of nice in certain circumstances because as condo managers, like we want to have that data available.
Yeah.
It's not. A lot of times people go like, well, why do you need this? And it's a situation where maybe there's a leak that's happening in your area of the vehicle.
Yeah.
So we look at the parking stall number.
Sure.
We identify who owns that parking stall. And then when we call them, they go, well, I don't have a car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
Also, someone else is parking here.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
Somebody's in your stall. We need to figure out who they are.
Yeah.
So we look up the license plate number for the data that we do have, and it's incomplete.
Yeah.
So then we're chasing down, trying to figure out who this is. If we were
Sure.
in a scenario where we have that data of the license plate, and there's a use case for it in the sense of that, it also would cut down the costs on garage remotes.
Yep. Which are very expensive.
They're very expensive for what they are.
60 to 80 a piece or more.
Correct.
Yeah.
And then in some cases for condos, there's also like an administration cost put on that for the owner.
Sure. Yeah.
Right? 'Cause we got
Yeah.
to
That's just the
program
fob.
it.
They need to be programmed.
We got to program it. We also need to create a little bit of deterrence, right? We have to create an incentive for people not to misplace them.
Sure.
So, like some of our condos, like I've seen some condos where the garage remote's $150 when you misplace.
Wouldn't be surprised by the time you program it, that labor, give it out to everyone, you know.
Correct. So you run into this situation where the owner really like honestly misplaced it. It
Sure.
happens. I
Yeah.
misplace things all the time.
Yeah, yeah.
So then you're like, oh my goodness. But if it was my plate that was able to scan, I would never have to worry about that again. And I would just have to remember that if I had a new license plate, I just
Right.
got to update
Yeah,
Condo.
for sure.
And
So-
I'll know the first time when I get home when I can't get in.
Yeah. So that's an interesting thing.
that one.
Some other ones, like if you're going to do facial recognition, it's not really happening yet. But
Right.
you know, someone who you've banned from the property,
Sure.
you know, you could get an alert
Right.
right away if they come on the property.
Right.
And the other way, if you have a VIP showing up to the property,
Right.
you could get an alert. Say, hey, Josh is here.
Exactly. Yeah, sure. I
Yeah.
appreciate you thinking I'm the VIP. I see some managers' minds are probably going right now, being like, "Oh, board members approaching my office. Better get going." So yeah, that's
sure.
fine. Would it have the capacity to do anything like you mentioned object detection, which
Yeah.
I thought was interesting because. Where I see it being beneficial is if you had a camera in, let's say a mechanical room,
Yeah.
for argument's sake, and there's a leak that's starting to occur. So obviously the still that the camera is used to seeing
Yes.
has changed.
Yes.
Would that be something they could pick up?
Yeah, definitely.
Really?
Yeah. That wouldn't be object detection as so much as like a scene changing.
Sure.
So you can have like an analytic for these cameras will learn their
Right.
scene, just like you were saying, right? It's like the scene looks like this 24/7 for
Yeah.
365 days a year.
Yeah.
The scene has changed. There's a pool of water.
Yeah.
What has changed? You could send out an alert about that.
Interesting.
And it would be good to know, right, before there's a major flood.
Yeah. I mean, if I remember one of my first properties that I ever managed, I ended up getting a call because there was water showing up in the lobby.
Okay.
It was, I can't remember if it was 27 stories around there kind of area.
Yeah.
The water was originating from the penthouse mechanical room.
Oh boy, it made it all the way down to the lobby.
All the way down to the lobby before
Yeah.
before it was reported. So if we had that early type of detection in a camera system,
For sure.
that property also had 24-hour security coverage, they would have been able to get the alert, action it, and catch things a lot quicker.
For sure. And
Like
there's
obviously
also
there's water for everybody listening. We know there's water detection devices.
I was gonna get to that
connect
too.
To it,
Yeah.
for sure. But sometimes what'll happen is those water detection devices, they need to water needs to interact with them,
Mm-hmm.
and if the water goes in the wrong direction,
Yeah, for sure. So I was going to say that as well. There are water detection devices and ones that go not only in pump rooms, but in suites
Right.
as well. So if you had these are small little pucks,
yep,
battery powered.
right,
They link up to a Wi-Fi system, and you would place one in the bathroom, under the kitchen sink,
right,
places that you have plumbing, and those sensors can actually interact with valves like main riser valves.
Right.
And we're detecting a flood in unit 304. Shut off the riser to that part of the building.
Really?
Yeah.
And now, does that integrate into? So for us, like the way I see that is building automation systems.
It is.
Does it integrate into the security system as well?
It's kind of its own thing.
Right.
Almost anything can be monitored, like
Sure.
CO2, water, anything you can think of. So that would be a monitoring system.
Okay.
More than a security system.
Right.
But I mean, that may, if you just one flood,
Yeah.
the amount of damage water can do.
Correct.
Having that system in place and you use it one time may pay for it.
Yeah.
So, that's an interesting system because it not only detects water, it can shut off the valve so it doesn't create a giant flood.
Yeah, you basically cut off the supply.
That's right.
And then all of a sudden you go through. I think one thing that's it's tough to articulate this sometimes for the condo world, the importance of some of that preventative maintenance on valves.
Yeah.
Like I'm not going to go down a plumbing
Sure.
trip on you, but exercising those valves is very important.
I
those
would imagine.
shutoffs.
Yeah.
So having a tool like that would mean that the team members would need to make sure it's not a complete fail safe because the system is going to create an actuation. The actuation is going to try to close the valve.
Yeah.
And if the valve doesn't hold, then obviously there's a bigger
That's a
issue.
problem.
But I like the idea that the camera system or integrated with the water detection systems
Yes.
can identify an issue, remove the response time of
Yeah.
humans, and then just isolate the problem.
That's it. And it comes back to everything before. It's all a layered approach.
Yeah.
Right? All these systems. That's why they call us integrators.
Right.
Right? We're security integrators.
Right.
Integrating different systems together for the greater good.
Right. Good.
Yeah. So in that vein of monitoring, another thing that I'll tell you about that we do is ULC fire monitoring.
Okay.
So the Underwriters Laboratory of Canada, the ULC, they make a specification of how fire systems are to be monitored.
Right.
And it's super specific, down to the letter. If you have one nut in the wrong place, they fail it.
Right.
It very, very specific. But what our systems do, we don't install fire systems, but our systems are communicators for the fire systems that you have at your condos.
Yep.
Right. So those systems, the sprinkler system and whatever, it has no way of communicating with the outside world. So if you have a fire, the fire department's going to want to know about it. So the fire system has 3 outputs: fire trouble, and fire supervisory.
Right.
If you're having a fire on site, the fire output would be tripped. That would go to our system, which then communicates. And if it's a fire alarm, it's always send the trucks right away. This
Right.
building is likely on fire. Send them right away.
Yeah.
If it's a fire trouble, that could be a low battery.
An open circuit.
Yeah. Fire supervisory could be a problem with one of the sprinkler heads.
Yep.
Not
generator running sometimes.
Yeah. So
fire
not
pump
an
running.
emergency.
Yeah.
But you're going to want to know about it.
Yeah. Like,
So-
hey, you should probably look at this.
Right.
Yeah.
But fire trucks right away on fire alarm. So that is another thing we do. We are ULC certified for fire monitoring.
Yeah, which is definitely something that we use a lot. A lot
Yeah.
of times, like I'll get the calls,
Yeah.
right? The call will come in, hey, this is a monitoring station. We've received a fire supervisory,
Yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Is there any way, and I'm just keeping an eye on our time here, but
Yeah.
is there any way on that fire monitoring side of things where when a supervisory comes in, the type of supervisory for a manager matters, right? If it's generator running, I need to know. If it's fire pump running, I need to know. Is there any way the monitoring can see the type of trouble currently?
No, because all we're getting is an output from the fire system, fire supervisory. That's all the information we get.
Right.
So that's what's relayed to the monitoring station.
Right.
That information that you're looking for would have to come from the fire system
Right.
itself. And really, it's probably a service call
Sure.
to your fire contractor.
Yeah, or
right?
having somebody, if you have a team on site, then have them swing by the panel, tell you what it's reading.
Yeah, for sure. So yeah,
Or install a camera looking right at the panel.
now you're thinking.
If
I
you
like
want
it.
something to be efficient, you find somebody who's lazy to figure it out.
Right. Yeah. It's like, oh, what's the enunciator saying?
Yeah,
Now we
exactly.
can see it.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's
Cool.
funny.
Cool. Okay, so for anybody who's listened to us, thanks for sticking around
Yeah.
and wants to learn more, or maybe connect with you directly. What is the best way for them to reach out to you?
You can go to our website, www.ainger.com. That's AINGER.com. That's the best way to get in touch with us. Or you can call us direct at our office, 613-226-9937.
Do you have yourself on any social medias, LinkedIn, anything like that?
We are. Yeah, we're on Facebook. I'm not sure about Instagram, but LinkedIn for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, socials of all kinds.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Well, I really want to thank you for your time today. I really appreciated our conversation. There's some things I definitely learned. I'm excited about the integrations. I mean, I'm definitely a supporter of technology and pushing that limit to try and make things a little bit more efficient. In time, it definitely also makes it cost effective for our clients. Security is a very important part to me. The reason I come back day in and day out is to make people feel safe and secure in their homes. That's safe physically, financially, and part of a community.
Right.
So having the tools at hand of a experienced cabling and security company has been a valuable asset to me. You've helped me out a lot of clients to be able to provide them with the level of service that they need. So thank you for your time. I really appreciate you joining us today.
Happy to help. Thanks for having me.
Thanks.
Thanks, Josh.
Thanks for tuning into the Condo Pod, your source for all things condo in Eastern Ontario. Be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and share this podcast with your fellow condo community. For more resources and upcoming events, visit us at ccieasternontario.ca. Until next time, stay informed, stay connected, and keep your community strong.